So anyone who has traveled around Europe would understand that the European roads were originally meant for horse and buggy. Right now I'm passing a tractor on the back roads of the hillside of the Algarve. So tractors, horse and buggy, the roads are tiny. When I rented the Alfa Romeo Tonale and wound up in the old town of Sevilla, it was bad. And it's not just that I had anxiety being from North America, but if you look at the vehicles, the sides of them and the bumpers, they were all scratched up. So other people, even including Spanish, don't know how to drive their big vehicles, and even the small vehicles were all scratched up. And something that we noticed in Paris that nobody will tell you unless they're there to see it is that people intentionally bump into other people when they're parking. They scooch, back and forth, and they boop each other, and it's just normal. And we sat at a cafe once when I was in Paris with Desiree and the kids, and we watched one tiny little Mazda get booped repeatedly, and we were like laughing. Is somebody else gonna? People were trying to park in this spot that was just too small for anyone to park in, but people kept trying. And so they would boop the Mazda forward and boop it backwards. And Desiree's dad was telling me this is why, if you live in Europe, people know to not leave their 5 speeds in gear, because you'll ruin your transmission. So you keep it in neutral and pull the e-brake. And at least, it's only your e-brake, or your car is sliding around on its tires instead of having your transmission ruined. You wouldn't even know. This poor Mazda Miata guy, at the end of the day, getting in his car and it's all dinged up. And I guess it's just normal in Europe. That was Paris specifically. So my heart goes out to this guy who was killed in an SUV. And so when a Westerner is reading this article from the Telegraph about all this left-wing socialist mayor is banning SUVs, coming from somebody who has actually traveled and been around these roads in Europe now, and having driven as many cars as I have in my life, it's not entirely a bad idea to ban SUVs in Paris. And speaking as somebody who's driven around on the underground trains there, there's plenty of transportation in Paris. There's buses, there's the trains that get you around. What do they call them underground? Those Subways, there you go. Lots of it. Lots of transportation. So the roads are like too tiny, basically. So I'm a guy in Niagara. I have the Tundra, the Toyota Tundra, V8 Tundra, giant truck. Desiree, her last vehicle that she was driving was like a 9-passenger Toyota Sienna. We would not drive those vehicles here in the Algarve. In fact, we drove around and realized, we need to get a small car. So right now, I'm driving a 1998 Volkswagen Polo. And the reason for that is completely tactical. Completely, it's functional. Like functional. Yeah, like what do you need for the space that you're driving in, and then look at other people and what they're doing, and then make your decision. That would be my advice. So from a Westerner reading this article, you might feel like, it's just the mayor being crazy. It's not the mayor being crazy. Come to Europe and drive around like we have, and you'll see that actually in Europe, the smaller the car, the better. And it's not entirely a bad idea to ban SUVs in the city of Paris. Speaking as somebody who's been in there, who's been to Paris and driven around roads in Europe. That's my 2 cents. Adam Josh out. Vive la Paris.
Vive la révolution.
Vive la révolution. Salut.
Au revoir.
Bon voyage.